Yeah. I mean, it's great. You always want to work all year long so that when you get to this time of the year, you're playing for something. And so the guys have done a great job of that. We've obviously evolved as a team since, especially after the first 4 weeks of the season, and now we have a lot to play for, and so does Ole Miss, so does everybody else, in this, especially in this league. Teams trying to host regionals, teams trying to get into regional, teams trying to make the conference tournament, and that's a scary thing. One thing we talk about is we have to be more desperate to win than anybody we play, no matter what our situation is. So that'll be the same speech this weekend.
You like the fact that your guys are coming into this thing as well rested as they can be, and coming off that sweep of Mississippi State?
Yeah, we needed the rest. Been taking a little bit of a beating about the not playing a game last night, but that's okay. Had to make a tough decision, so you got to wear that. But our players needed it. We're pretty banged up. Austin Bose really needed it. Claunch really needed it. Pitching wise, we're not the deepest pitching staff, so we needed as much rest as we could possibly get, and we'll need that again next week before the conference tournament. Same thing right now. I more than likely Tucker and Prager would, start, but we'll just attack them one at a time and see what we need to do to win. Obviously, it helps that Hogan and Cortez, being right-handed out of the bullpen, pitched better, because really Tucker had been pitching better than both those guys as relievers. So the fact that Hogan and Cortez were better helps us a lot. We need Palisch to get it going again. I think he's hit a little bit of a lull, and now that he's through exams, they're all through exams, hoping that we can get a little bit, April version of him versus what we've seen the last couple of weeks. But and then Micah Dallas, he's still just a massive part of what we're going to do, whether it be out of the bullpen or in a start. So I think we have the pieces to put it together, but it still comes down to executing pitches, and we've already created the identity that we really don't have one, in terms of, it's just, hey, who can get this out in this scenario, and the guys in the last couple of weeks have done a good job of that.
It seemed like back in our day, it was a really big deal for a guy to hit 95. Say, wow, that's really something. It doesn't seem. I joke that the guns are faster now than back then, but what has been the big difference where you have a guy like Cortez who's hitting 99?
Yeah.
And so, what has been the big difference over the past 20, 30 years?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about your day. My day was if somebody threw 90 miles an hour. I mean, that was if somebody. Yeah. If you had somebody threw 90 miles an hour in college, I mean, even the best teams might have had one or two guys that did that. Velocity now. That's the thing. You look on social media and you see guys at young ages. All they're doing, they're posting how fast they throw the ball when they run 10 yards and throw it into a net. How that correlates to throwing strikes and being a pitcher, I don't know. Which is why you see guys with greater arms than we've ever seen, but can't field their position and can't throw strikes. So there's a give and take. I'm a believer that today's player, today's amateur and professional player, is more physically talented than they've ever been. They're bigger, stronger, they run faster, they hit the ball farther, they throw harder. But how skilled of a player are they? How are they able to help you win what skills do they have to help you win a game? And that's where going to college and figuring that out comes into play, is where we try to take prospects and turn them into players, right? So Cortez has a great arm, but he's got to be able to land a breaking pitch. He's got to be able to field his position. He's got to be able to hold runners. And he's getting better at all those things. And hopefully before his time finishes as an Aggie, that we have a complete pitcher, and then you have a first rounder. So, but that's just what we see. And for the hitters, velocity means nothing. They see it every day. They see it in the batting cages. The pitching machines we have now, they see 92 to 97 every single day. And I think there was, when we played Arkansas, you had Cortez, Vermillion, for Arkansas and the starter for Arkansas on Sunday, all were thrown in the upper 90s, and all three guys didn't hardly get anybody out the whole weekend, right? Both teams couldn't get the pitchers out quick enough because they weren't landing off-speed pitches, and they were getting hit at 97, 98 miles an hour. So velocity is awesome if you have something offset it. Then it's really cool. But just being able to light up the gun, that doesn't get you far these days.
Coach, we know you guys are on a series win streak and then getting a sweep against the defending champions. How good, honestly, does it feel to be a part of this ball club right now?
Yeah, it's for me personally, it's a pleasure to be around these guys every day, and I've been around some really awesome teams, just unique teams that you just enjoy. Like, for instance, we're getting ready to get on a flight. That's fun. Tonight we'll practice in Oxford. That's fun. The games, those are stressful. I like everything else. The games are for the players, but I've said since at the beginning of the season, we will look back on this team in terms of the experience, the kind of human beings they are, the kind of competitors they are, as one of the best that we've ever had.
And then obviously with it being your first year, expectations could be varied for a first-year coach. How would you grade yourself so far and your staff with just one more series left to go?
Well, I was hoping to go 56-0, so hoping to win them all. But I think our staff's done an awesome job. I think Nate Yeski's done great, piecing this thing together without front-end starting pitching, or at least consistent starting pitching. It's way easier to be a pitching coach when you have starters that are getting you into the fifth and sixth inning that you can count on. That'll help you sleep at night. But I think, you look at what I look at is, do guys get better? Like, have they gotten better? Like, so Cortez is better. Hogan is better. Will Johnson is infinitely better. Detmer's is much, much better. So, and then the same thing from an offensive standpoint. Michael Early, Nolan Kane, all those guys. Everybody on our staff has had a huge impact on that. I'm just trying to navigate the ship. And so the individual achievements of the players really speak to the assistant coaches more so than me.
Obviously, you've been to the box, play at home games at Olsen Field, but you're also going to Swayze this weekend for the first time. Have you been there before, and what do you know about the atmosphere in Oxford?
Yeah, I've been there a couple times, but it was always early. We played up there when I was at TCU. We played a couple 3-game series, but it was always actually snowing. We got iced out in 2/3 of a weekend, one weekend. So I've never been up there when it's never been there for postseason. Never been there when the students are really have it packed and stuff like that. So looking forward to that. That's one of the reasons you come to this conference, is to play in those atmospheres. Coach Bianco and I have been super, super close friends since I was an assistant at Tulane and he was an assistant at LSU. He was on my USA staff in 2013. He's coaching the USA team this summer. So we talked earlier this week before they made their decision to mutually cancel their game. So, he's a good friend, and I'm looking forward to the experience. And Oxford's a really neat college town.
What do you know about his ball club?
About Ole Miss? Yeah, they can really hit. Don't do a ton of things, bunt and short game wise, but they look to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and if you don't execute pitches, you can get bloodied real quick. And they're playing with a lot of confidence. He's got some bullpen arms that he moved into the rotation because of injury or poor performance, and those guys are now pitching with all kinds of confidence, and big arm and Johnson in the bullpen. That's going to be tough to deal with. Big velocity, big spin rate. But if we just have to go. For us, it's going to be about handling the atmosphere and just executing pitches on the mound. If we execute pitches, we'll stay in the games. If we don't, like we saw here, we gave up 5 homers in a game, right, last weekend, I think, or maybe against South Carolina, whatever it was. If we don't execute pitches, we're going to give up 5, 6, 7 home runs a game at that place. Small ballpark and a lot of powerful hitters on their team.
What were your first impressions of Austin Bose? I know you talked about how cool it was. Hey, Coach, I can play second. I can help out this team, and just kind of what he's meant to this first year for you as well.
Yeah, Austin Bose, baseball player, just truly defines we talk all the time about being a prospect versus a ball player, and he's a prospect too, but he's way more ball player than prospect. And his football background, his athletic, his family, their athleticism, and his brother, and his parent. Obviously, he's been raised incredibly well. You can coach him. You can coach him hard, and he doesn't soften up. He's super, super competitive. He's one of those guys you almost have to gear back more than gear up, which is always a great trait. And he just loves to compete, and he loves being an Aggie, you know. And so, certainly, super glad he's here, and would love to have him back next year.
With some of the results going maybe the way you want them to on Sunday, is it safe to say that someone might be watching the Arkansas game on an iPhone or iPad?
I mean, I don't have my phone on during the game, so I mean, I always check scores after games, except when we lose, then I never check them. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, if there's a championship to be won, we want to try and win it, and you know, right now we're in contention for that, so we'll see how it goes.